Okay, good morning, students. Myself, Tanishwari Anola. As I had said you, I'm looking across with the software engineering. Okay, and today's class, we'll get into the second module here. Okay, so second module is all regarding object-oriented concepts, or else you are coming across to know with object-oriented modeling. You are coming across here to know this particular language, which I had said priorly also, that is called out as UML, which stands out for Unified Modeling Language there. Okay, so just for your brief study, so with our last classes, we have come across to know that how important is software engineering as a subject which we have to study. Okay, so software as a term. So what do you mean by software as a term? What do you mean by software engineering? Okay, so what are software engineering activities we have come across? Okay, and the very first activity we have deliberately we have opened up with that is called out as specification there, requirement specification. With respect to requirements only, we have come across to know what are the different ways of interacting, or else what are the different ways of collecting the requirements there. Okay, so that was requirement elicitation, requirement analysis and design. We have come across with how to validate that particular requirement, and then only I can have the documentation of a requirement being prepared with me. Okay, so now wherein we have completed with our very first section, or else very first step of our activity, that is requirement specification. Okay, so let us come across with the second one. Okay, so what's our second activity? Second activity is all regarding the design there. Okay, so with respect to design, before going across with the design there, so we will come across to know with respect to this particular language called out as UML. Okay, UML stands out for Unified Modeling Language. Okay, so let us come across here. So these are my module outcomes here. Okay, for your module you are getting to know with the importance of what do you mean by this object orientation. You'll get to know with this design technique that is called out as UML. Okay, then you will get to have an evaluation of differences between when a class diagram should be used, or else when a class model should be used, state model, interaction model, what are these diagrams we'll come across to know. Okay, so then we will come across with a case study of a ATM system, and we will ATM system, and there are many other diagrams which are coming across in our further slides or else further classes. We'll come across to know for the same. Okay, so let us, before going further, okay, so with respect to your C as a programming language, so what was your main encapsulation, or else your main look for there? So main look for was on the data. Okay, so that is data was the main look for whenever that particular system, or else whenever we are looking across for an program. So at that time data was a main concentration there. Okay, so with respect to data itself, yeah, other things are being revolved around. Okay, so but whereas here, so we are looking across, or else in your next in your what is in your syllabus it will be covered. You are coming across to know with object oriented concepts as an one whole chapter, one whole syllabus, one whole subject itself. But apart from that, here I will tell you just a brief overview about that. Okay, now what does this object orientation says? First of all, keep in mind it is an overcome to the particular traditional language which is already existing now. Okay, so which is existing now was a structured language. Okay, and which is existing in and further in your future is your object orientation there. Okay, so with respect to your object orientation, so what is the main importance of this object orientation there? So object orientation says that you are mainly encapsulating on the objects rather than the data there. Okay, so you are not concentrating on the data, whereas you are concentrating more on the objects there. Okay, so let us come across to know what do you mean by this object orientation. Okay, so if I want to say with respect to an definitive term or something there, object orientation means that we organize a software as a collection of discrete objects. So everything I'll be treating across in terms of objects now. Okay, so those objects I combine them together, and I say that if they behave in the same way, I characterize them as a class, one whole class there. Okay, in C as a programming language, you are come across with structure and structure type of variable. Okay, here we will be coming across with objects and classes. Okay, this is a relationship which we'll be treating. Okay, so similar type of objects which behave in the same way are grouped up togetherly, and we say that it is pertaining to one particular class. Now if I say across for your whole class, okay, so for your whole class you all are treated as objects now. Okay, S1 is an object, S2 is an object, student 1 is an object, student 2 is an object, like this all of you are being treated as object. Okay, But the behaviorance is nothing but if I take a skeleton structure of student as an object, it will remain the same. You will have the same priorities called out as name, you will have the same priorities called out as semester, which branch, okay, then what's your VTU number, that happens to be an unique identifier of each object there. Okay, how is the object being identified by another object? It is by this unique identification. Okay, one object is been identified by an unique identifier as compared to another one. Now what do? I group up such objects togetherly and I say that this is pertaining to one class. Okay, so if I treat you all as objects, I say you all belong to a class called out as student. Okay, in that student as a class, I will be defining certain data there or data types. Okay, so like just now I said you all, for all of you, you will be having the same entries there, like student name, student roll number will be there. Then you will be having across with the student department. Okay, so student percentage, all of them are being taken across as a class inputs there. Okay, so for each of them I can have repetitive objects which can be assessing this particular class there. Okay, so this is how, in the same way here, the definition also says that we organize software as a collection of discrete objects there. Okay, those discrete objects incorporate both data structure and behavior. Okay, data structure is nothing but what is the data type. Now if I take student name, what is the data structure for that? Data structure or its data type happens to be, it has to be an alphabetical, that is an variable type. Okay, string type. Okay, then behavior with respect to that student name, where all I'll be using it. I can read it, I can display it. Okay, so I'll be using it in multiple ways there. Okay, so this is with respect to your object orientation there. Okay, then let us come across to know what are the aspects or else what are the characteristics which I'll be looking across for any respective object oriented approach there. Okay, by now I hope so I am very clear with what do you mean by an object and how object plays a very important role there. Okay, so priorly with respect to your C as a programming language, we have come across with structured programming language there, but here we will come across with object oriented programming language there. Okay, there are 4 characteristics which are required for any respective object oriented approach there. So what are those 4 characteristics? One is identity, the second one happens to be classification, the third one happens to be inheritance, and the fourth one happens to be polymorphism. Okay, identity, what do you mean by identity? Identity is nothing but the data. Okay, so whatever data is there, all of those data is quantized into discrete distinguishable entities called out as objects. Just now I said to you, every object is identifiable. Okay, if I say S1 as an object is identifiable, so that's nothing but there are certain characteristics which that particular object is pertaining, so those will be recorded there. Okay, so that is how an identification of an object is taken there. Okay, what's the second one? Classification. Now what do? I take out such kind of objects togetherly. Okay, same data structure which are having same, that data structure is nothing but attribute and behavior is nothing but operations. Okay, which are performing similarly. Okay, if I take myself as an one object called out as E1, okay, and if I treat you as an another object called out as, it can be S1. So S1 and E1 does not belong to a same class called out as student there. Okay, S1 belongs to a class called out as student, as whereas E1 belongs to a class called out as employee, because E1's data structure and operations are different, whereas students, that is S1 as a object's data type and the operations are different, that data structure and behavior are different. So ultimately the classification says that with the same data structure and the behavior are grouped into a class there. Okay, whereas what's the third respective characteristic of an object oriented approach? It says inheritance there. Okay, what is this inheritance? It is sharing up of attributes and operations among classes based on an hierarchical approach there, relationship. That is nothing but wherein you have different set of attributes and different set of operations there. Okay, so all of them you can identify them and define them, declare them in an superclass, and from that particular superclass you can extract something. So that extraction can be given out by subclasses there. Okay, I think that directly you will not come across with this particular word called out as inheritance, okay, until and unless inheritance are nothing but, now like for example a simple analogy I'll just say you, okay, your parents, okay, mother and father, okay, so there are certain characteristics which are being attained by you as an child, okay, there can be some characteristics you are taking from an father, and there are some characteristics which you are taking across from an mother there, okay, so togetherly you are having your own unique characters, and that is how you are being formed. So in the same way is this inheritance as an approach also. Okay, inheritance says that whatever are the common behaviorals, whatever are the common attributes and the operations, those are being declared across in a superclass, and whereas the subclasses whatever are there which can be refined further and which can be extracted from them, okay, so that is being declared across in the subclasses there, okay, so this is inheritance there, okay. And the last one happens to be polymorphism. So what is polymorphism? Polymorphism says that there can be one particular operation which can behave differently under different classes or else different circumstances there, okay. You have the same operation called out as sum, if at all this is an operation to you. So this sum as an operation is behaving differently under different circumstances. So that is what is called out as polymorphism there, okay. So with respect to the next particular section is regarding your object oriented methodology there, okay. So your object oriented methodology contains some 5 different steps there, okay, so which I'll let you across in our next video there, okay, fine, thank you.